Ruth. Back in the days when the judges were judging, at a time where there was famine in the land, a certain man from Bethlehem went to live in the territory of Moab. He and his wife and his 2 sons. The man's name was Elimelech. His wife's name was Naomi, and his two sons' names were Machlon and Chilion. They were Ephraim from Bethlehem and Yehudah. They arrived in the plain of Moab and settled there. Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died. She was left with her 2 sons. They took wives for themselves from the women of Moab. Names of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other was Ruth. They lived there about 10 years. Then Machlon and Chilion died, both of them. The woman was left with neither her 2 sons nor her husband. So she prepared to return with her daughters-in-law from the plain of Moab. For in the plain of Moab she had heard how Adonai had paid attention to his people by giving them food. She left the place where she was, her two daughters-in-law, and took the road leading back to Yehudah. Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Each of you, go back to your mother's house. May Adonai show grace to you, as you did to those who died, and to me. May Adonai grant you security in the home of a new husband." Then she kissed them, but they began weeping aloud. They said to her, "No, we want to return with you to your people." Naomi said, "Go back, my daughters. Why do you want to go with me? Do I still have sons in my womb who could become your husbands? Go back, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. Even if I were to say I still have hope, even if I had a husband tonight and bore sons, would you wait? Would you wait for them until they grew up? Would you refuse to marry? Just for them? No, my daughters. On your behalf, I feel very bitter that the hand of Adonai has gone out against me." Again, they wept aloud. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth stuck with her. She said, "Look, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her God. Go back after your sister-in-law." But Ruth said, "Don't press me to leave and stop following you. For wherever you go, I will go. And wherever you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried, because Adonai brings terrible curses on me, and worse ones as well, if anything but death separates you and me." When Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more to her. So the 2 of them went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole city was stirred with excitement over them. The women asked, "Can this be Naomi?" "Don't call me Naomi, pleasant," she answered them. "Call me Mara, bitter, because Shaddai has made my life very bitter. I went out full, and Adonai has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? Adonai has testified against me. Shaddai has afflicted me." This is how Naomi returned, with Ruth, the woman with Moab, her daughter-in-law, accompanying her from the plain of Moab. They arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. Naomi had a relative on her husband's side, a prominent and wealthy member of Elimelech's clan, whose name was Boaz. Ruth, the woman from Moab, said to Naomi, "Let me go into the field and glean ears of grain behind anyone who will follow me." She answered her, "Go, my daughter." So she went out, arrived at the field, and gleaned behind the reapers. She happened to be part of the field that belonged to Boaz from Elimelech's clan. When Boaz arrived from Bethlehem, he said to the reapers, "Adonai be with you." And they answered him, "Adonai bless you." Then Boaz asked his servant supervising the reapers, "Whose girl is this?" The servant supervising the reapers answered, "She's a girl from Moab who returned with Naomi." from the plain of Moab. She said, "Please, let me glean and gather what falls from the sheaves behind the reapers." So she went and has kept at it from morning until now, except a little rest in the shelter. Boaz said to Ruth, Did you hear that? Did you hear that, my daughter? Don't go to glean in another field. Don't leave this place, but stick here with my working girls. Keep your eyes on whichever field the reapers are working in, and follow the girls. I've ordered the young men not to bother you. Whenever you get thirsty, go and drink from the water jars, and young men have filled it. She fell on her face, prostrating herself, and said to him, Why are you showing me so much favor? Why are you paying attention to me? After all, I'm only a foreigner. Boaz answered her, I've heard the whole story, everything you've done for your mother-in-law since your husband died, including how you left your father and mother in the land you were born in to come to a people about whom you knew nothing beforehand. May Adonai reward you for what you've done. May you be rewarded in full by Adonai, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come for refuge. She said, My Lord, I hope I continue pleasing you. You have comforted and encouraged me, even though I'm not one of your servants. When mealtime came, Boaz said to her, Come here, have something to eat, and dip your piece of bread in the vinegar. She sat by the reapers, and they passed her some roasted grain. She ate till she was full, and she had some left over. When she got up to glean, Boaz ordered his young men, Let her glean even among the sheaves themselves, without making her feel ashamed. In fact, put some ears of grain out from the sheaves on purpose. Leave them for her to glean, and don't rebuke her. So she is gleaned from the field until evening. When she beat out what she had gathered, it came about a bushel of barley. She picked it up and went back to the city. Her mother-in-law saw that she had gleaned, and Ruth brought over and gave her what she had left over after eating her fill. Her mother-in-law asked her, Where did you glean today? Where were you working? Blessed be the one who took such good care of you. She told her mother-in-law with whom she had been working. She said, The name of the man with whom I am working today is Boaz. Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, May he be blessed by Adonai, who has never stopped showing grace, neither to the living nor to the dead. Naomi also told her, The man is closely related to us. He's one of our redeeming kinsmen. Ruth, the woman from Moab, said, Moreover, he even said to me, Stay close to my young men, until I have finished my harvest. Naomi said to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, It's good, my daughter, for you to keep going out with his girls, so that you won't encounter hostility in some other field. So she stayed close to Boaz's girls and to glean till the end of the barley and wheat harvest. She lived with her mother-in-law. Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, My daughter, I would be seeking security for you, so that things will go well with you. Now there is Boaz, our relative. You were with his girls. He's going to be winnowing barley tonight at the threshing floor. So bathe, anoint yourself, put on your good clothes, and go down to the threshing floor. But don't reveal your presence to the men until he finished eating and drinking. Then, when he lies down, take note of where he's lying. Later, go in, uncover his feet, and lie down. He will tell you what to do. She responded, I will do everything you tell me. She went down to the threshing floor and did everything her mother-in-law had instructed her. After Boaz was through eating and drinking and was feeling good, he went to lie down at the end of the pile of grain. She stole in, uncovered his feet to lay down. In the middle of the night, the man was startled and turned over. There was a woman lying at his feet. He asked, Who are you? And she answered, I'm your handmaid, Ruth. Spread your robe over your handmaid, because you are a redeeming kinsman. He said, May Adonai bless you, my daughter. Your latest kinsman is even greater than your first, in that you didn't go after the younger men, neither the rich ones nor the poor. And now, my daughter, don't be afraid. I will do for you everything you say. for all the city leaders among my people know that you are a woman of good character. Now it is true that I am a redeeming kinsman, but there is a redeemer who is closer relative than I am. Stay tonight. If in the morning he will redeem you, fine, let him redeem you. But if he doesn't want to redeem you, then as Adonai lives, I will redeem you. Now lie down until morning. She lay at his feet until morning. Then before it was light enough that people could recognize each other, she got up because he said, no one should know that the woman came to the threshing floor. He also said, bring the shawl you are wearing and take hold of it. She held it, and while he put 6 measures of barley into it, then he went into the city. When she came to her mother-in-law, she asked, who are you, my daughter? She told her everything the man had done for her. Then she added, he gave me 6 measures of barley because he said to me, you shouldn't return to your mother-in-law with nothing. Naomi said, my mother, just stay here where you are until you learn how the matter comes out. For the man won't rest until resolves the matter today. Meanwhile, Boaz had gone up to the gate and had sat down there. When the redeemer of whom Boaz had spoken passed by, such and such, he said, come over here and sit down. So he came over and sat down. He took 10 of the city's leaders and said, sit here. And they sat down. Then he said to the redeeming kinsman, the parcel of land which used to belong to your relative Elimelech is being offered for sale by Naomi, who has returned from the plain of Moab. I thought I should tell you about it and say, but if it is in the presence of the people sitting here and in the presence of the leaders of my people, if you want to redeem it, redeem it. But if it is not to be redeemed, then tell me, so that I can know, because there is no one else in the line to redeem it. And after you. He said, I want to redeem it. Then Boaz said, the same day you buy the field from Naomi, you must also buy Ruth, the woman from Moab, the wife of the deceased son, in order to raise up in the name of the deceased an heir for his property. The redeemer said, then I can't redeem it for myself, because I might put it in my own inheritance at risk. You take my right of redemption on yourself, because I can't redeem it. In the past, this is what was done in Israel to validate all transactions involving redemption and exchange. A man took off his shoe and gave it to the other party. This is the form of attention in Israel. This is the form of estation in Israel. So the Redeemer said to Boaz, buy it for yourself and take off his shoe. Boaz addressed the leaders and all the people. You are my witnesses today that I am purchasing from Naomi all that belongs to Elimelech, and all that belonged to Kilion and Machlon. Also I'm acquiring my wife Ruth, the woman from Moab, the wife of Machlon, in order to raise up in the name of the deceased an heir for his property, so that the name of the deceased will not be cut off from his kinsmen and from the gate of his place. You are witnesses today. All the people at the gate and the leaders said, we are witnesses. May Adonai make the woman who has come into your house like Rachel and like Leah, who between them built up the house of Israel, do worthy deeds in Ephrath, become renowned in Bethlehem. May your house, because of the seed of Adonai, which the seed of Adonai will give you from this young woman, become like the house of Peretz, whom Tamar bore Yehudah. So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. He had sexual relations with her. Adonai enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son. Then the woman said to Naomi, blessed be Adonai, who today has provided you a redeemer. May his name be renowned in Israel. May he restore your life and provide for you of your old age for your daughter-in-law, who loves you and is better to you than 7 sons, has given birth to him. Naomi took the child, laid it on her breasts, and became its nurse. The woman who were her neighbors gave it a name. They said, a son has been born to Naomi, called Oved, who was the father of Yashi, the father of David. Here is the genealogy of Peretz. Peretz was the father of Hezron. Hezron was the father of Ram. Ram was the father of Amminadab. Amminadab was the father of Nachshon. Nachshon was the father of Salmon. Solomon was the father of Boaz. Boaz was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Yashi. Yashi was the father of David.